Hello. How we doing today? Has everyone got gas in their tank? Has everyone got ready for the rubber to meet the road? I'm doing more car things.
Oh man,
I'm doing more. Yeah, dude, grab that steering wheel, throw it into third gear. Yeah.
I just drank a fifth of vodka. Dare me to drive?
Yeah, I think that has to do with driving. Ladies and gentlemen, bro, this whole time covering this set, have you seen that video where Tim Robinson interviews a climate scientist and at the end he gets him something and it's a poster of a car and he goes, yeah, what do you think about that?
No, but that seems like it applies, right? Wow. Holy cow,
and the guy's like,
man.
that's not what an electric vehicle sounds like. And he's like, broke the road. I've just been thinking about that this whole time.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you got it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Morning. I'm good.
Or good afternoon to you.
We have got all of Aetherdrift spoiled. Jake and I have combed through the set, picked out the cards that we want to buy, and we're going to show them to you and give our reasonings for that.
Yeah, you didn't wish me a happy brunch time. It's brunch time for me over here. It's like right around 11.
You make me celebrate your brunch time every single day, and it's starting to get old.
Well, it's important to me.
A happy mimosa to you. There.
Thank you, man. That's all I wanted. Let's say hey to some folks before we get into this.
Yeah. What's up, homies? How y'all doing?
We got Count Crisco in the house. Travis is here. Travis, what's up, man? Finding you during the day. Thank you for joining the day stream. Have you been to one of these before? Good to see you. Steve is out there. Blight Widow, what's up? ABL is here flying Brotata. That's a good name. Joel owes me money. I'm only here to collect.
I made a whole video with a box that I hadn't paid for. What's up? I'm a criminal.
Well, here's the zinger. I owe Travis money as well. So we're both
Jake and Joel are Magic is heavily indebted to Travis Gafford.
Jake and Joel are in debt to Travis Gafford.
Yeah,
there we go. That's our new channel.
Only say Travis. Travis is fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I missed y'all. How have y'all felt about this set? I see so much hate online for this set. If it's not car set, it's Fast and Furious Magic, or it's piss borders. It's like I can't get away from people being like cars. Like that.
I actually like a lot of the cards in it.
I thought the art in this set was sick. I thought it was really good. Here come the shield comments. Here come the wave. Here it comes. He's a shell. He likes the set. Oh no.
Yeah, dude, you're a dirty shill. That's what I learned in our comments is you and I are just, we used to be on the level when we talked about Consulate Dreadnought, very first video,
That was peak. That was peak for us.
1 mana, 7/11, crew of 6.
I'll say this.
Now you and I have gotten to the point where if we like something that's new and someone doesn't like it, man, we are just the biggest jerks. We are just really out there.
Mod in the house. Everybody should say what's up to Spec. Yo, yeah, man. I'll tell you. We were very outspoken about not liking murders. I was also very outspoken about the pieces of Thunder Junction I did not like. Pieces of all the sets last year I didn't like. But
no, dude. Look, you can't isolate moments.
Do I either have to hate this or love this? I either have to be all in or all out.
You have to figure out a way to get your opinion to perfectly match everyone else's opinion.
Got it.
Yes,
okay.
you need to learn to perfectly fence sit. You have to sit right in the middle of the fence. Okay.
The trick, I can stay on the fence. I can sleep on the fence, Jake. The trick to sleeping on the fence is face down with the post in your mouth.
Yeah. There's a max speed land. Blight says max speed is going to be good in EDH, and I agree. I agree. I actually think max speed is pretty good because all you have to do is get max speed and then do damage, and it's like once it's established, boom, it's there.
Dunzo.
Yeah.
It's like the city's blessing. You're at max speed and you have the city's blessing.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I noticed
I love the joke. The joke was I got the joke.
Jake, they're making fun of you. They're using puns and wordcraft to make fun of you.
I'm trying to hide behind my mic.
I'll tell you this.
Hidden?
I noticed when I was going through the set that there are not as many generically powerful commander cards in this set as there were in a set like Murders at Karlov Manor, for sure. And as there are in, I would say, a typical set. I think that it has to do with the amount of niche things, amount of niche mechanics that belong in the set. And am I going to be just keep plowing through this combo while you are hiding behind a microphone?
You can't see me. You can't see me.
That was a mechanic in Murders. That was not a mechanic in Aether Drift, whatever the set is called.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so I noticed that there weren't as many commander cards in this set as I would typically find in a regular in a set like this.
There are some good ones.
As you were looking through it, did you notice anything?
I noticed. Let me take a look at my list here, because we do have a.
Chad, I'm sorry. I'm going to make him have a conversation with me. I apologize. Y'all can do an off the rails thing next time I'm not here. I'm going to force him to do content. Sorry, y'all.
No, man. Yeah, we are going to do some content too. When I was looking through the set, I did find a good bit of commander cards. There's that card that turns into an Ancient Tomb later. It comes in as like a generic mana, establishes max speed, and then once max speed is established, it becomes an Ancient Tomb, something Speedway. I found that in the commander only product, the non-reprint cards that were printed in the commander decks, a lot of those are niche for energy, but
super
must
niche.
includes.
Yeah, we did include some energy cards because they were like, auto includes in energy decks, knowing that they're
obviously
niche.
They're not going anywhere else.
Right. Typically, there's an argument for one or two of them that we'll make when we get on the cards, but yeah, because there was such a niche mechanic included in one of the decks, it was basically like either include some energy cards or just ignore that deck as a place of new commander cards to explore. So we included some on the list. We got like 30 something on the list.
Renewed Solidarity, that card, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Backbreaker in token decks. Just more good enchantment redundancy and payoffs for enchantments.
Right.
And then in the main set, I do kind of agree with you. In the main set, there are some very good commander cards.
For sure.
But there's not like a ton of them.
No, I feel like typically a first pass
that
I go through a set, I'll find like 12 to 15 cards. And then if I do a deeper dive, I can get up to like 20, 25 that I could make an argument for in some deck somewhere, whether it's broad or niche application. For this one, I feel like I didn't even hit 10 on my first pass of like, oh, well, obviously. I really had to like, okay, let's dig in. Let's be like, okay, where could this play? Oh, actually, this could be really strong in X. And that's how I kind of got up in that 11 and 12 mark even. I wasn't even crossing that 15, 20 threshold. And then I saw that you had included... So Jake and I pulled our list together so that we can kind of react to each other's picks. We just mash them all together into a folder, and that's what we're going to do next is go through all those picks. And I saw that you had included the commander set, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll do that too. And that's where I found like 4 or 5 extra cards. And I saw you put energy on there, and I was like, okay, I'll throw some energy cards on there that I like too. So yeah, it was interesting. This set, it not hitting as hard for commander overall. I think there's going to be a large part of the player base that's actually okay with that. I think there's going to be a large part of the commander base that's actually okay with that too. I think that mostly the non-commander players will be like, hell yeah, thank you. Leave it alone for one set. They get so much. But I feel like even me as a commander player, I'm like, cool. More time to breathe, more time to explore these commanders that aren't just like generically good, gotta build them. We can look at, what's available for some of these more niche application commanders. We did not put any of the vanilla legendaries on here. I was curious to see if you were going to throw one of those silly, like, what is it, like a 7-2 or a 14-1 or something ridiculous?
There's a 0-8 in blue for 2.
Yeah, the 0-8 for 2. I was like, this is the kind of card in the back in the day I'd be like, let's put an Armored Ascension on this and go to town.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it can attack. It's not a defender.
I know.
Oh man, it's like talk dirty to me, baby. That's great. But there was a 4/1 in red for 2.
Oh yeah,
which trades really nicely.
They got
That's
boring
cool.
though. Like a 3/3 for 2 was the white one, I think.
How about the dinosaur? That is, you remember the card Leatherback Baloth? 3 green,
yeah.
or a green, and it was a 4/5.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to make a dinosaur that's a lord for dinosaurs that is less cost restrictive, 2 green, 1 other, and it's a 5/4 that gives all the dinosaurs +1/+1. It's the stupidest thing I think I've ever seen. It's just wild. Techno Techno Trout says, with all these new themes, i.e. cowboys, motor racing, what theme would be going too far in your opinion? Joel, what do you got? You got a theme that would be too far.
Hang on, I gotta go through my Rolodex of the thousands of possible themes of things.
Themes?
General themes.
That would be going...
How about you name a theme and we'll tell you if we think it's too far. That's a fun little game we can play with chat before we get into these cards. As chat is coming up with good answers for... Y'all pick a theme for a Magic set real quick and we'll tell you if we think it's too far. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Yeah, I'm gonna think about it.
What is your theme?
I'm gonna think about it while
we do sponsors.
Yeah, while I talk about the sponsors real fast. Card Conduit, best place to sell your cards quickly and easily on the internet. Take those cards you don't want, turn them into cash. Simple as that. Use our code, get even more money. Bing bang boom. TCG Player.
Bing bang boom.
Official online store of Jake and Joel or Magic. Go over there and let all the stores compete for your purchase. Go look at some charts. That's how you can know what the price was and what it is right now. TCG Player. Dragon Shield. Best sleeves in the entire multiverse. If you join our
Protect
Patreon,
your cards with those sleeves.
you can get a free pack of JAJAM custom Dragon Shields if you join our Patreon. Thank you to Dragon Shield for sponsoring the channel. Also, Moxfield, best place to put your deck lists online. Moxfield is your home for deck lists. It's our home for deck lists. Follow us over there. All right, let's go. What is the theme? Politics. American politics. Could that be a good MTG set? I'm going to go with no. That's too far.
It needs to be... okay, so yeah, I mean that's probably... Yeah,
I don't know.
We don't want to...
Just because
I'm trying to think
of how our improvisational brains work, that's it for that one. No, it would not work.
I was going to go something like Killing Spree. Killing Spree for me would be like too far. Like it like thematically fits into MTG because it's like, yeah, sure, you did a blasphemous act, you killed everything, but like to actually put the words Killing Spree on a card, I think would probably be too far. That's the one for me.
The name of a card?
I'm sure it's the name of a card. But
is it the name of a set? No.
Yeah, but if it was like a theme or like, there's max speed on the card.
There is no card called Killing Spree. Strangely enough.
We probably just want to avoid that. So
geopolitical intrigue and policy creation. I like that. If it was like bureaucracy.
Right. Yeah.
IKEA. I don't think I would buy the MTG IKEA set.
Yeah. IKEA would be, well, that's kind of like Universe's.
Well, that was too far for me. Like, I'm good with Spider-Man. I'm good with Final Fantasy. I'm not good with IKEA. No.
Yeah.
I'm also not good with like Magic the Gathering, Barnes and Noble. What are all the cards books? I don't get this set. Stop trying to force it on me.
Celtic MTG with the €5. I've been following you guys for quite a while. Happy to finally catch you live. Not super excited for Aetherdrift. We appreciate you. You become the Stream Monarch.
All hail.
All hail.
All hail. All hail the Stream Monarch. Crowns in chat. Let's get into these cards.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about some cards.
I'm going to set our Stream Monarch first.
Okie dokie.
As I do this, if y'all would click like so that we can get up to 69 likes and get into this thing.
Yeah, we do need to get to 69 likes, chat. We've got a lot of regulars here, so need you to do the good work. Like the video.
Boom, 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 boom. Celtic MTG. All hail the Stream Monarch. All hail. As far as our poll here in the opening minutes, which one is truest? 55% of y'all said Aetherdrift is fine, and 21% of y'all said I love Aetherdrift. 18% of y'all said Aetherdrift is a pass, and 6% said I hate that car set exists.
What about a full underwater theme set? Is that too far for you?
Is every card blue? Because then yes.
It's all underwater.
I would appreciate it the same amount I appreciated underwater levels in Nintendo games when I was a kid. I hated them.
Oh, dude, they want me to hide behind my mic, man.
We're about to get into this.
Okay.
We got these. We got these cards to go through.
All right, let's do it. No Fast and the Furious crossover. I don't know.
No Fast and Furious crossover yet, Charles. Have a little hope.
Have a little hope. Yes.
We have
seen other Universal properties, so
we can still hold on to hope. That's all we have. We'll
as a geologist, I want a rock set.
We'll see if our moles can go figure anything out. All right, let's get into these cards.
Okay.
We got them all over here, chat. Like I said, it's 30 something. Jake, I don't know. This one wasn't on your list. It was intentionally on the list, yeah?
Let me see if I can.
This is where we're starting off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so shortcut. You get us going. This was one of yours.
Yeah, this is one of my. Actually, shout out to Blight because she put it on my radar. It's a strictly better read the bones. Each player loses 2 life, not just you. So when you do this in Commander, you're drawing 2 cards, and each player is losing 2. It's just a strictly better read the bones.
I don't know if strictly better is the right phrase, because you're getting Scry with read the bones, and then the new one from Duskmourn, you're also getting Surveil, and so not being able to manipulate it all as part of that, I think disqualifies it from being strictly better. But it's certainly another option.
Yeah, so strictly better is not the right way to say this, but yes, it is cool that each player is losing 2 life off this effect.
Yeah.
I know, like, I would probably run just like Sign in Blood,
right,
or something like that alongside it. But
what was the new one? There was the new one that I love now from Duskmourn. I haven't memorized the name of it yet, but having Surveil on there, I actually consider better than the Scry. And that's the one that if you're going to run one of those 3 mana draw spells where you get to manipulate a little bit, that's where I fall right now for that one. I think we both put this one on the list.
Just had to put a softball up for comments so that they can be like, oh God, they've been here 8 years and the analysis is just bottom tier.
Don't say they.
Yeah, count on luck.
Don't say they. Count on luck. 3 red mana. I think we both had this one on the list. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. You can play that card this turn. There are some decks that aren't going to want or need this. Obviously, I don't think this is going to be a 75% inclusion red card, but
no,
it is interesting nonetheless.
It's kind of like a red arena, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, it's like, yeah, you get this card, you don't lose any life from it, which is kind of cool. And
there are certainly some cards that care too about cards being played or cast from exile. This will automatically be in those decks. Prosper decks would love anything like this. That's going to keep it in relevance, I think. Very interesting though. Cool to have sort of a red arena-ish card. That's nice.
It's hard for me not to include enchantments, man. Like, enchantments are just, they're kind of my top interest when a new set comes out. Is I like to comb the enchantments and see what we can find there. So
yeah, absolutely. I put this one on here. 6 mana sorcery. After this main phase, there are 2 additional combat phases. At the beginning of each combat this turn, untap all creatures that attack this turn. Dude, I can't tell you how many times with an aggro deck I'm like, well, I could kill 1 person this turn. This one says, why don't you go ahead and go for all 3? You have your main combat, and then you have a combat to kill that person, and then you have a combat to kill that person. Hooray! You've won. You've gone full throttle. That plus loot in the art here is kind of insane.
At the beginning of each combat this turn, untap all creatures that attack this turn. So you just cast this in main 2? And then...
Yeah, I mean, you can cast it really whenever you want. You're going to get 3 combat phases on your turn.
So stupid.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
You can see chat right now. Xenagos, Ishin. There's so many commanders that just want combat steps. I mean, any creature-based deck, this is a potential contender for your finisher, I think.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It is just stupidly good.
And to Steve's point, let's copy this spell. It can be flash back. You know, it doesn't exile. This one is just, this card gets absolutely redonkulous. Jake, we got a new horse mount.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on with this card. 2 white and 3 other for 5/5. Horse mount has ward 2. And whenever this creature attacks while saddled, search your library for a non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And so you saddle it for 4, but to saddle for 4 on this and then just tutor things up seems very, very strong.
I would play this. I would look for my commander to have 4 power so that I'm guaranteed to be able to saddle it, know that I have a creature ready to hop in the saddle, if you will. And so this falls into decks where it's like your commander's 4 power or more, in my opinion, and you're focused on the like Sun Titan-y type of build. You've got a lot of, you know, creatures coming in. Maybe it's a tokens build, it's some kind of permissions build, but the vast majority of your stuff is 3 or less. And yeah, get redundancy on this type of effect. Love that ward too as well. Helps with the like, I've got to get all the way around a turn to even activate this thing. It's cool. Great horse art.
Let's talk about the downside of it, because Spec, for example, is saying that this is mega garbage, which I disagree.
I don't think it's mega garbage.
He's saying it's well, I mean, you know, but I don't think it's mega garbage either. I want to hear the argument for why it's mega garbage. Is it because it's easy to block?
No, I mean, I feel like the argument is slow. It's slow. Doesn't do anything. It's a 5 mana 5/5 with no avoidance, without being saddled. It's got to be saddled. That's why I said you want to build it into a commander with 4 power or more, so that you're guaranteeing that. You know you're gonna have that online. You don't have to draw another card to get this one rolling. You've already got it in your command zone.
Yeah, I think Spectre is saying so many hoops, just play a real tutor.
Yeah, slow.
I kind of disagree, because in white you don't really have tutors that let you just go grab any non-land permanent for 3 or less. I feel like it has really good coverage. It's like, sure, you can have like Enlightened tutor in white, but it's more restrictive if you need like a specific non-land permanent. I don't know. I just
really wish it had haste.
Yeah,
honestly, I think that would put it over the top. But yeah, a little slow, but getting that stuff out straight up onto the battlefield, pretty insane. Jake, I was actually surprised to see that you had this on your list. I know it's an enchantment, but this is very like, I have a lot of creatures to do my things with, and that's very not what you typically do.
Well, you know, you're right. Yes.
I obviously put this on there. 6 mana, and I get a 6/6 every time anybody casts a spell.
I do very much recognize when you have like a top end Crater Hoof or a Triumph of the Hordes type effect that's just gonna end the game. So this is like a Beastmaster Ascension. It's like a Crater Hoof Behemoth. That to me is why this is on here. It just has that big top end game ending vibe that I think a lot of players aren't going to be able to ignore. Yeah,
it's an inevitability, right? Because you're not going to get anything from the cast on this or from it entering. This is just sort of like you know, maybe you had 7 mana open, you Blasphemous Act, you cast this, and you pass, and you're like, okay, feed me 6/6s. There's an inevitability to it that if they don't answer it, it absolutely will overwhelm them and become a crusher. This is definitely my type of card. Garrick kind of hidden in the art in there. Everybody getting to speculate leading into this set. Really think that one's a fun one. Jake, I actually found when I was exploring this set too that the uncommons, there were more uncommons that I was like, oh, I really like this as a cool piece of tech for, you know, a bunch of different decks. One of those was Molt Tender. It's an insect druid, 1/1 for 1. You can tap it to mill a card, which is not too shabby. But you can also tap it to exile a card and add a mana of any color. So it's got like a Deathrite Shaman kind of thing going on there. And you can self-mill. So not only can you self-mill yourself, but anybody tutors and put something on top. Shoot. I wonder if that mill a card applies to you. Mill a card. Because that would
No,
have said.
look, they give you the reminder text there. Put the top card of your library into your graveyard.
So they.
So
have,
I don't think you can do it
dude,
to somebody else.
They've cut words off here.
Those other cards that said target player are still specifically
Mill a card from their library or
player.
something. Their target something. Oh man, I'm having an MTG Boomer moment right now. There's
So
not enough words on this card.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that it is like mill a card now means specifically
okay,
yourself.
so we can't anti-top deck tutor tech with Molt Tender. I still that was just an added bonus. I still really
do
like
it
the
for like
self-mill.
winter though. I'm thinking about it for winter, and honestly, I mean more so winter over like a Carador.
Yes,
because I think in winter a lot of the cards are intended to be kind of like fodder because they're like artifact creature and that kind of thing. So I do like it. I like it just for being able to continually fill up your graveyard. It's kind of cool.
Any repeatable self-mill, huh? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Disa. Yeah.
Ovia is a card that we both had on our lists.
Well, it's a strictly better Elvish Piper, right? And I know chat's going to be like, but no, it's legendary. So it's not strictly better. But it is a strictly better Elvish Piper. I mean, it has a better toughness. You're able to... you get this other line of text. Each creature that's attacking one of your opponents has trample.
Speaking my language.
The card is insane, man.
I'm going to give my line and y'all's lines trample against Jake. And I'm able to just dump stuff onto the battlefield for 1 mana if you let me untap with this thing.
And then, if it happens to be an artifact, put 2/1/1 counters on it.
This one's a really fun one. I mean, people run stuff that says all your creatures have trampled just to do it, just to have that one line of text. And this line of text comes with some pretty sweet value on top of it if you're getting untapped. It goes into a lot of different green archetypes, creatures, vehicles, kind of crazy. I mean, artifact creatures, think about that. Artifact creature decks, anything like that. You're automatically putting counters on the stuff. This is
politics of being like, hey, no, don't swing at me. You don't have trample if you swing at me.
Right.
You've got all those big creatures. You should be swinging over so-and-so's line. You should kill them with all of that power that you have.
Especially if we can like incentivize them to attack with other means as well. I'm just going to passively give all your stuff trample. Yeah. Ovia is cool. I like Ovia a lot. Cool. Jake, we were both on Bright Glass Gear Hulk. 2 white mana, 2 green mana for a 4/4 with first strike and trample. When this creature enters, you can search your library for up to 2 artifact, creature, or enchantments with mana value 1 or less. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. So I think this card is pretty sweaty. This is not like... I don't think I'm recommending this card for your casual tables, guaranteeing your Soul Ring every game, you know, this kind of thing. But for sweat tables, getting any from among artifacts, creatures, or enchantments that are 1 or less, you can pull a lot of power into your hand with this ETB that then you can like flicker and do all the Gear Hulk tricks with, reanimate, flicker, all those kinds of things. I just really like this one for higher power.
Yeah, because you're going to have a lot of pesky cards that are super low mana that are going to be a catch-all for that. You know, go grab your good mana rocks, or even a Haywire Might, you know, just something like that. The utility of being able to just go find something that you need in that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm a fan. Authority of the Councils. I see that popping up.
Exactly.
What's up, Jank? Good to see you.
Silence, Curse of Silence, whatever that is. Stuff like that.
So I actually was looking at this card, and I want to pitch to you that we should probably do the 3 ways out of this. I think there's so many different ways to do it, but we'll talk more about that later. I think this is probably a really good one, something that a lot of people are going to be interested in. Loot the Pathfinder, a red, a blue, a green, and 2 other for a 2/4 legendary creature, Beast Noble. A lot of people don't like loot. A lot of people love loot. It has 3 different exhausts that you can do. Tap it to add for a green, and tap, add 3 mana of any one color. So it's a big mana rock. Oh, look at Joel's loot there. And then for an exhaust in a blue, draw 3 cards. So it's got a lot of draw built in. And then it also has a lightning bolt built into it as well. So yeah, it's a pretty fun little card.
I want to flicker this thing. I want to use these abilities and flicker it, obviously. I want to be able to untap it. I'm going to get all tricky with untaps and flickers and all sorts of things so that we can use these abilities over and over again. Brainstorm, Lightning Bolt, Black Lotus, we'll take it. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Interesting little legend here. They are trying to make loot cards that people will play. I put Riptide Gearhulk on here. This one seems real rough to have to deal with, especially if people are blinking it.
It's annoying.
Throwing it in the closet and getting it back out at the end of every turn. 2 white, 2 blue, and 1 other for a 2/5 with double strike and prowess. This says when this creature enters for each opponent, put up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. That is the most annoying. That's the most annoying thing that you can possibly do, guys. I hate this in advance for anybody that gets this done to them. This is insane. Blink. Okay, you put that, and you put that into your library, 3rd from the top. EOT, let me Conjurer's Closet. All right, put that, and you put that into your library, 3rd from the top. Pass. No, I'm good.
It is hands down the worst card in the set.
Ooh.
In like how strong it is. It is the worst, most punishing, Azorius bullshit I've ever seen. It is awful to behold. Looking at this card,
I read this one and was just like, no, thank you. I choose not to acknowledge this card's existence.
I hate it so much. I hate its colors. I hate everything that it represents.
This one's me.
Its archetype. It goes against everything that is magic in a way that it is everything that is magic.
It's interesting to me that they read all of that and then they were like, let's give it double strike and prowess.
I'm just gonna hide behind my microphone again.
That one is
I just can't with it.
Definitely a mythic ability. Jake, talking about uncommons that are pretty cool. I threw Voyage Home on the list here, a white and a blue and 5, but ignore that 5 because it says affinity for artifacts and you draw 3, gain 3. 1 blue, 1 white is how you should read this card. This goes in your artifacts decks that have blue and white in the color identity. You're going to be paying a blue and a white to draw 3 and gain 3 every single time you cast this. I just think it's going to automatically go into those archetypes, be a standard just power player utility piece in there. And so, you know, wanted to call it out. I have a lot of artifacts that it'll go in, artifact decks that it's going to go into automatically.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very easy because it's just going to mitigate the cost, right? You know, this is why I run Imskir, is like Imskir's this commander that I can just cast for a red and a black most of the time. If you're running the right deck, if you have a big pile of artifacts, I mean, I could see this being, God, this might even, man, I might be wrong, but I feel like it could like go to like a CEDH kind of like blue-white pile that's just running a ton of artifacts, and you're just going to be able to, for a blue and a white, draw 3, gain 3. I don't know. I know that
CEDH, I don't know if CEDH runs like generic draw, like they want to randomly run into more resources. They might be
sorcery speed. It wouldn't be sorcery speed, would it? No, it's probably just going to be like a brainstorm. There's no reason. Yeah. So,
but interesting.
But I definitely think because of how many artifacts there are in Commander, that this could be one of those cards that's just highly played. Yeah,
exactly. It's just gonna be highly played. I put this one on here. This is a weird version of an Oblivion Ring in artifact version. It's got start your engine, so if you have no speed, it starts at 1 and it increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life, and your max speed's 4. So for a white and 2 other, you're getting an artifact that says when this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. So it's a little tuck away on any non-land permanent from an opponent. And then once you do have max speed, you can just tap it to put a counter on a creature at sorcery speed. The repeatable counter on a creature every single turn on top of a removal utility. In aggro decks, you really want to like pick carefully how much non-aggro stuff you're running. And running little utility pieces like this that are kind of both, you're going to sacrifice like it's a 1 or 2 mana more than most removals would be to exile something, and it stays behind, so there's a chance they ace it and it can come back. But the ability for them to stay, that deck to stay aggressive while also removing a piece, I just really like cards like that. And so Perilous Snare, also it's got your boy inside a cage. So, you know, I think people are going to like it for that as well. Save me.
Yep.
Save me from the perilous snare.
Help that little guy out of there.
Little aggro, little utility for
I like the card as well.
Removal as well.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monument to Endurance here. You have 3 for an artifact. Whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. So this is going to be for if you are in a heavy discard theme.
Yes.
This is going to be a card that really fuels what you got going on. You can draw a card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life. This is just like, oh man.
Automatic archetype card, any cycling thing, any looting type ability deck.
Any wheels
Any
kind
wheel
of deck.
Yes.
I mean, look at that. Each opponent, and then I'm just going to cast a Wheel of Fortune.
Right.
I mean, it hasn't been chosen this turn.
Right.
So
you'll get a card, a treasure, and each opponent will lose 3 life once per turn. But
yeah,
if you were doing that, you're getting all
thankfully
3.
they didn't make it too busted, right?
Oh my god.
It's like,
it would need to be a 6-man artifact and it would push into unplayability. I prefer it to be like this. It's just there's a lot of archetypes that care about discarding, and so yeah, it's a, you know, top 50 card in those archetypes for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Gotta be in there. It's a cool one.
It makes like Faithless Looting kind of an interesting card, doesn't it? Where
all
Faithless
those
Looting is...
all those decks that would have that, it's just going to provide that incremental value, like Spec said. Radiant Lotus. This is the one that everyone wants to fight over for the set. It's either trash or cracked. Chat, you let us know. Jake, read this one. I'm going to make a poll and let chat decide trash or cracked officially.
Sure. Really quick, David Simpson says, Jake, I lied the other day. Stretches are good, especially back stretches. Yeah, chat, you got to stretch, man. Stretching is how you keep it together. Radiant Lotus. Oh, you accidentally went back to Monument of Endurance.
I was typing.
But that's okay.
Here we go.
So Radiant Lotus, you got a 6-cost artifact. It is notable. Comes in untapped. And you can tap it, sacrifice 1 or more artifacts, choose a color, target player adds 3 mana of the chosen color for each artifact sacrificed this way. So I don't think it goes in every deck that's running artifacts, but in ones that are like heavy food, heavy clues, treasures.
Yep.
If you're just making a bunch of artifacts or something like that, I feel like Radiant Lotus could be a very good card for you to consider.
Jank, we're not going to have middle ground here. That's not what this poll is about. This poll is about, is it good or is it evil? And I don't want any in between.
I still think I want Coveted Jewel over this.
That's the draw 3, taps for mana, and if you get punched, I think it goes away. It goes to whoever punched you. But the thing is, chosen color, you're fixing your mana if you need it. You're popping this to go crazy. You're popping this to drop it into an X spell. You're building this into your red-black treasure deck. You drop it Radiant Lotus, tap and sack all your treasures, cast a huge Exsanguinate, and win the game. Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at here. I hear a lot of people...
KCI.
Exactly.
Yep.
The comparison to KCI is there. It is the lower to the ground version, the quicker to get going version, the more consistent version, for sure. But I do like Radiant Lotus. I haven't gotten a Lotus in the last 2 years, Jake, including this set, that people are just like, oh my gosh, I have to do it and it will one day be banned. Everybody's just like, nah, this one's mid. And the ring last year, man, that Lotus ring. Anybody playing Lotus ring in anything? Shout out Lotus ring. Anybody remember that card?
Chat, would you like it if it cost 0 and it entered tapped?
And still had all the text like it is, so it's a strictly better
text. The text is the same.
The text would be strictly better.
It costs 0.
Strictly better
0.
Black Lotus text, but it comes into play tapped.
Comes into play tapped.
Yeah, dude.
It does nothing the turn you play it.
What if you could pay 2 life and it came into play untapped? Would you like it then?
Well, then it would be cracked.
What? No way. Jake, I put this one in here to represent these, y'all.
All the verges. All the verges. You got the enemy verges this set.
There are verges in the set. They are good. You should get them. We will be getting them for all applicable decks. This one features loot. Hello, loot.
They're pretty good, man. They're pretty good.
Yep. I like the Verges a lot. Gonna be picking them up from this set. Nice to have them back to back. Pick them all up. These will be definite buys. Jake, tell us about Muruganda Raceway. You hinted at this one earlier on.
Yeah, so it comes with Start Your Engines, and it's just a generic land that later on in the game becomes an ancient tomb, or like a temple of the false god kind of thing. I like it better than Temple of the False God, especially if you're in like a nice aggro deck and you're going to be attacking a lot. You can pretty much guarantee you're going to get that ancient tomb effect eventually. So I think there's some people that aren't going to like it, and those are going to be people that are in like, well, the game's over by turn 5 in my pods. But I think for a grindier, more casual commander format, I think it's a great card.
I like that it doesn't come into play tapped. I like that it does something until it's fully turned on. Not doing anything would be a deal breaker for me on this one. Like
Temple, right?
Right. Well, unless you have the yeah, it is useless if you don't have the right amount of lands. Right. Exactly what I'm saying. It's an interesting one for sure. Nice that Start Your Engines decks, max speed decks have that, potential turn 1 play. Get your engines started. Anything that can do something and then do things better is A-okay in my book. Jake, it's really easy. Here's another uncommon that I pulled from the set. It is really easy to recur artifacts, particularly. Artifacts from graveyard to battlefield, creatures from graveyard to battlefield, not difficult to recur. If you have one of those that is also a counter spell, you got some potential to be real annoying to the table.
Yeah.
Diversion unit
white.
here.
Blue white comes to mind here.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. 1 blue, 1 other, 2/1 flying robot. Pay 1 blue, sack this thing. Doesn't even have to tap. Counter target instant or sorcery spell unless it's controller. Pays 3. This is a really sweet card. Lots of potential here to be super obnoxious.
I like it. I do. I think it's pretty good. Little uncommon flyer that you can be really pesky with.
Yes. Return
pretty
it.
Sweet.
Return it. Return it. Return it. That's what I want to do. Man, I read this card.
Have Iron Man on an artifact.
I read this card and I started laughing because I was like, man, I can't believe that they're giving me redundancy on Iron Man within months of giving me Iron Man. It's insanity.
Yes.
We're living in a world where I have a secondary version of a commander who is so powerful. The best way to deal with it is just remove it. Cool. I got a backup piece. Not to say that, my commander can go get my soul ring and provide me a ton of mana and I'm good to recast it. But how about a backup piece? How about it also does this thing too?
Yeah.
What is this world?
Right.
What is this world? Why are these back to back?
Thankfully, I guess it's activated only as a sorcery, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it in my main phase. Shucks.
I like pod effects. Pod effects are great.
Repurposing Bay is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Big fan of that one as an Iron Man player. Jake, I want to get this one for my Bumbleflower deck. My Bumbleflower deck is built as a +1 counter, draw 2 cards per turn deck. And it already runs a couple of cards that say when you draw your second card each turn, do this thing. What I want to do is I want to get Thopter Fabricator in there and test this out. Just for 3 mana. I know I got to crew it for it to be an attacker as well, but I kind of like it as just a passive. Every time I draw a second card, I create a 1/1 flyer. And I'm able to, with Bumbleflower, drop the counters on that 1/1 flyer. And I'm just creating this army of 1/1 flyers that are, multiplying every time I'm doing the card draw piece, and it's something to drop counters on it. So I really, particularly, I was like, holy crap, I want to test this in my Bumbleflower deck because it's just built in such a way where I'm going to be drawing cards and I'm going to be dropping counters on things. Flyers, that sounds like a great target for my counters.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate Bumbleflower so much, but I'm happy that some people enjoy it.
Yes, and are getting new pieces for it with every set.
Yes. Yeah.
Jake, this was a card that you really love, and you were gonna change your entire Magic the Gathering approach to re-identify yourself as an unstoppable plan.
Yeah, that almost verbatim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a card that is, man, so many cards come to mind, right? Wilderness Reclamation, Prophet of Krufix, Unwinding Clock. It's a blue enchant. It's different than Seedborn Muse, everybody. Just so you know. We do understand it's a strictly worse Seedborn Muse because it
Lots
costs
of
3,
Strictly's in this video.
and it's in blue. It's a blue card. It costs 3. It says your end step, not each. You see how Seedborn Muse costs 5 because the ability is so strong? It's okay that it's worse than Seedborn Muse because it has to be. It only costs 3. And it's on an enchantment. Seedborn Muse is so busted because it costs 5. And the effect is so busted, it has to be on a creature so that it can die easier than this. And people are going to be like, no, dude, you can naturalize it. You know how often an enchantment sits on the battlefield and no one is running a naturalize or a disenchant and they just don't have an answer to it? It happens all the time. So no, I don't think the card is busted. Not saying it's busted. I'm saying it's very good. I think it's a very, very good card.
I think it's strong as hell. Anything that has any effects that have anything to do with tapping. There's so many just commanders straight up that want to tap and do a thing. This just says, okay, cool. You can do that twice. You can do that multiple times. Enjoy. Attacking decks, obvi.
Yeah.
Pinging decks, anything like that. Convoke stuff. You've got convoke decks where you don't care if it's just at your end step because you'll get to maybe cast something else on their turns.
Yeah.
Unstoppable Plan is kind of crazy.
Really
Also got Jace performing mind control over 5 people, and I'm like, Jace, what's going on, pal?
Yeah.
Are those bad guys?
Getting kind of like a villain vibe here.
Oh, for sure. I think that's where it's going to go next. Jake Vinwixt, verbose host. You got to get that max speed going, but if you can get the max speed going, you got a 2-mana card that says draw a card, draw 2 instead. And that's just like straight up across the board, applies everywhere. It's always applied. It is no conditions. Ay. You want to draw some cards? How about a homunculus?
It blocks well. Yeah, man. I don't know about the name, but, whatever. They don't like vowels over there.
It's a name only someone who hates vowels could come up with.
Is that the vibe with homunculi? Is like there's no vowels over there?
Well, they're so
I just kind of put that together.
They're so eye focused that they don't want to be arranged around vowels in other places.
Yeah.
Get it? Because they're one big eye.
There. What up, Venom?
They're one big eye.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate me. Wax and Shape Thief.
I do.
1 blue, 3 other. This is a cycler, y'all, that can flash. It's the cost of a clone. It's the same amount of mana as a clone. It can copy an artifact, which I think clone is just creature straight up. But then the ability to cycle this away. I like this in Reanimator decks. I was thinking about this for decks like Rona of the Invasion. I'm running that as like a looting Reanimator type deck. Having anything that can cycle away and I can get it back later.
Yeah.
And or just flash it in as a copy of something and get a little tricky. I like this clone.
Yeah, man. Flash on a clone is just silly to me. It's like Flash Phyrexian Metamorph, right?
1 more mana, but yeah. You pay an extra mana on it for the ability to cycle it away if you want and to give it flash.
What is Metamorph's casting cost? Is it like a Phyrexian and 4?
A blue and 2, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, is it a Phyrexian blue and 3? And I just always in my head, it's a 3-mana card. And I'm just always paying 2 life. That would actually make sense.
Yeah, it's a Phyrexian blue and 3.
There you go. So like it's in my head as a CMC 3 card because I only ever cast it for 3. That's so funny.
Yeah. So it's
anything.
It's hard to decide.
Any permanent?
Metamorph is any artifact or creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact.
Got it.
So it's essentially the same thing.
Except you can cycle and
comes
flash.
down at at sorcery speed. This comes on at flash speed.
Yeah.
Must be 4. Metamorph can be 4, and most of the time it's 3.
Yeah, it's
So-
interesting. It's one I'm going to test. I like that it cycles. I like that it flashes. That's pretty much as far as my, I don't think this is cracked. I just think that it's an interesting design and could have some play in quite a few decks. Jake, we're into the commander cards.
Oh, this one is only our things.
Oh, I
Is
see.
it?
I see.
That's what it was. My
You
bad.
control, copy of something you control. I see. I
You
see.
control. Got it. That's the big difference. So Metamorph does end up being better. It just has strictly better coverage.
For sure.
Yeah.
The coverage is way, way better. Plus being able to cast it for less. Just interested in the cycle and the flash. Commander cards. Jake, I tossed this in here. I think that this plays in decks wider than just like cycling or I want to discard decks. I think any Reanimator style graveyard deck that is in blue, just passively giving all of your creatures the ability to cycle away, go get another card just for velocity, and then you can reanimate that thing because that's your plan. I think that the coverage on the zombie bird wizard creature types is going to be wider than most people give it credit for, because you see that word cycling, you go, I don't want to play a cycling deck, but this is, I think, wider than a cycling deck.
Yeah, I think so as well. You hit that kind of point during the game. I mean, it's a 2/1 flyer by itself for 2, which is already really good. But you hit that point in the game where some creatures in your hand are just worthless, and so giving them some utility is really good as well. I like it.
And you just need that answer. There's always that point in every game where somebody's like, okay, guess I'm gonna go digging. I'll see if I can stop this because I can dig down 3 cards. This lets you dig. It's a little more digging.
Yeah.
I do like that card a lot. I think it's really cool. Nissa was one of the energy cards we talked about.
Yeah. There are energy cards that were printed in these commander decks. One of the commander decks is an energy deck. And so even though this is a really niche mechanic, we wanted to include a few energy cards because if you are in energy, run it in like a teamer energy deck, you're going to want these. Nissa, World Soul Speaker, a green and 3 for 3/3, Elf Druid, landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you get 2 energy, and then you may pay 8 energy rather than pay the cost for permanent spells you cast. So you can't do any sort of non-permanent spells, but for permanents, you can cheat them on with energy versus using your mana, which in Magic, alternate costs have always been really, really strong. So yeah, this one's definitely an include if you're in energy and in green.
Obviously, the energy cards that you see in the video today are going to be best in an energy based deck. I want to look at them in a vacuum and see if there's any playability outside. It's interesting to me that it's only 4 landfalls from being able to do it, even if you're not an energy deck. That's not completely irrelevant, especially in decks that are definitely landfalling. It's like, okay, you could get 1 more free spell basically in your turn or in the game, maybe twice. You get 1 free spell as you're doing all your stuff. Not bad. I could potentially pop. In the energy deck, it's cracked in green, obviously. Same thing with Pima.
No, I'm not running it outside of energy.
No,
like, just
but
to
I
try
mean,
and get,
you can look at it like that, because I mean, like Pima Trailblazer, 1 green, 2 other for a 3/3 with trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy. So it's providing you with a lot of energy, and if you can pump it, put some equipment on it, you can get even more. And then just that exhaust to pay 6 energy, put 2 counters on this, becomes a 5/5 natural, and then draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So you could draw at least 5 cards off of this once you've activated that.
Yeah.
I think that there's some potential here. In the energy deck, I'll tell you, this card was so cracked. This is one of the new ones. For the energy deck, this card crushed. Now, I was making copies of it, and so every time I made copies of it, it was a 5/5, and it was hitting, and I could pay 6 energy, and then it would hit for 7, so I was netting 7 energy, or I was netting 7 energy back from paying 6. I'm netting 1 energy, I'm drawing 7 cards, and my thing is hitting. It's a brutal card in that deck, but I like it on the outside too. Same thing with Rampaging Aetherhood. Jake, you saw this card in action too when I played that precon. 5 mana, 4/4 trample, ward 2. Beginning of your upkeep, you get energy equal to its power. So this is one of the ones where like it could just feed itself. This could just be an insanely strong green beater creature, because What happens is you then, once you get energy equal to its power, you can pay 1 or more energy and you put that many counters on it. So the first upkeep, you get 4 energy, regardless of anything else going on in the deck or whatever. This becomes an 8/8 when you pay all of that energy because you don't need it for anything else. You're just running Rampaging Aetherhood as a silly big trampling Ward 2 beater that grows like crazy.
Yeah.
Next turn, you go to your turn, upkeep, 8 energy. Cool. I'm going to 8 energy, pay that. It becomes a 16/16 with Trample Ward 2. You see what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like that new creature from Foundations where it landfalls and doubles all the counters on itself. But it's a little bit bigger and it has to do with energy. I like this. I like this card in more than just energy decks. This is one of the few, I think, that just because it just feeds itself.
Yeah,
it's just
the
a way of
previous
growing.
one that we were looking at, I think, has to be an energy. This I think is too risky because it's like
you would have to grow its power by 3 the turn that it attacks to get 6 because you want to activate it quickly, not wait 2 turns. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
But
less of an argument here.
Hydra I can see. Yeah.
More of an argument here that this could just be in a generic green trampoline beady deck because it just feeds itself. It just doubles every turn basically. Is what it's doing because it doesn't have to connect. You just get it at the upkeep. Yeah, I like it a lot. I also really like Adaptive Omni Tool. I threw this one on here. I've been running Iron Man. I've been running a lot of artifact decks lately. Last year was a lot of artifact decks for me. 2 mana equipment gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. And whenever equipped creature attacks, look at the top 6, reveal an artifact, put it in your hand, rest on the bottom. It's just more insane value for artifact decks. The velocity on this, getting to pick from your top 6 an artifact to put straight into your hand, and then it's just making whatever's attacking. Put it on a Thopter. It makes that Thopter enormous. They have to deal with that. Then they also have to deal with the trigger. And at the end of the day, if they killed it, they only killed a Thopter. Yeah. Just really strong, generically strong equipment for artifact decks that might be making things that can attack. That one's pretty sweet.
See it. Yeah, I could see it. And then Conduit on here as well. If you're in energy, you probably want this card. 6-cost artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you get an amount of energy equal to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. And then you can pay 50 energy, draw 7 cards. You may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. So if you're in that deck, it might look like a lot of energy, but there are ways to double energy. And this spell right here, just whenever you're casting things, you're getting a lot of energy as is. So
yeah,
I feel like it's pretty much a must include.
For sure in the energy deck. I mean, if Storm deck might want this, you know, Aetherflux Reservoir is not necessarily just a life gain card. Am I right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
maybe. I see what you're saying.
You storm off. The thing is that Aetherflux Reservoir is a shotgun blast to your opponent's head. Like, it's just donezo. This one, it might get there. You draw the right 7. It might just put you way further ahead. Bigger target on your head. Now you got 3 players against you.
Right.
But yeah, crazy big. Love anything that'll let you pay 50 of anything.
Didn't you use that ability? I'm pretty sure you did.
I can't remember if I activated Aetherflux Conduit.
I feel like in the game you activated it.
I feel like I would have remembered that, but maybe I did. I remember the rampaging,
maybe I'm wrong.
That snake, man. I remember that thing getting enormous. But yeah. In the energy deck, it's a no-brainer. You'll have the energy to be able to do that with. We both had this on here. Your 3 mana rocks have got to do something to.
This was the doubler I was talking about. Yeah.
You know, there's a ton of 3 mana rocks nowadays, y'all. They really need to do something strong.
Saying you didn't, so I was wrong. Got you. Well, yeah. Okay.
Etheric Amplifier.
Else that was big and splashy. Okay.
Hey, sounds like me. Pay 4, tap it, choose 1, sorcery speed, double the number of each kind of counter on a permanent, or double the number of each kind of counter you have. This has obviously got application, and double is really strong. Many archetypes will want this one. Anything that's putting +1 counters, energy on yourself. What else? Experience counters. That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
You could double your poison counters, die faster, be like, I want out of here, I want to go home.
That's true.
Yeah, Will. Yeah, see, I'm with you, Will. We could just double the poison counters and get out of here. I run Etheric Amplifier so I can go home earlier.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
That's funny, man.
Now we're talking.
Get yourself out of there. I want to go home.
Fine wine list here. This is just.
I
one
thought
of
you were
those-
going to say fine wine when I saw this because I was like, oh,
It
Jake's
is.
getting in on Shade and Spectre Kindred. Here we go.
Yeah, this is one of those cards that just gets better. I mean, these are very, very popular creature types: zombie, vampire, spirit. The other ones,
Wraiths.
Yeah, yeah.
Popular.
Spectre. Shout out to Spectre.
Yeah, dude, we can regenerate target Spectre. If our mod gets blasted, we can regenerate him.
This right here, man.
There's
A
no good
regenerate
song for
card,
this.
A new card printed with regenerate on it.
Yeah.
Like Wizards does not do that very much.
No, most
just
of
a
the
different
card is
kinda
reminder
storm yard, right?
text. Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words make up the text of the card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And we need 22 words to explain those words.
Yeah, dude, people hate regenerate.
It's because you need
they
22 words to
typically-
explain 11 words.
Exactly. People don't understand that the next time it would be destroyed this turn, instead tap it, remove it from combat, and heal all damage on it.
Heal.
So it's like,
Not a word you hear
Yeah.
in Magical out either.
yeah, you have to tap it. That's something. This regenerate was something that lost me a limited event once because I didn't understand exactly how.
That's why it's on this list. It hurt you personally.
Well, I just know that regenerate is good.
Yeah.
We know regenerate is very strong. Like there's a stupid card from one of the old Urza sets, Yavimaya Hollow, that's just for 1 green you can regenerate target creature.
Love it.
It's such a busted effect.
Yes.
And you have it on a land, and a lot of people in Commander don't run land destruction. Like some people, like I run a wasteland in a deck. But for the most part, a lot of people aren't on land destruction. So unless, your Yavimaya gets hit with like a Beast Within or something, those kind of lands are going to go unchecked. Like a Cabal Coffers oftentimes goes unchecked, and people do need to run a little bit of niche land destruction for stuff like this. But yeah, I like this card.
Relevant 2 words on here: vampire, zombie. Everything else fine winds up, but vampire and zombie, people will definitely be going after that one, and they will
Will
want it.
says Wraith is a joke until we get the StarCraft universes beyond. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. This
That would
card's
mean
good
they're
too.
working with Blizzard, right? So we would also get World of Warcraft. It'd be kind of crazy.
That'd be wild.
Priest of the Crossing, a white and 3 other for a 3/3 flyer at the beginning of each end step. Put X +1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. Dude, I play so many. I know this won't go in Prosh, but this is the kind of card that I would be running in a deck that runs like Prosh but has white in it, which is
Aristocrats.
create a ton of creature tokens and get to sacrificing, baby.
Yeah.
Build up this enormous board with an infinite sack outlet and be like, all right, first person to come at me activates my trap card.
Yep.
This is the kind of card, and it's each end step, Jake. It doesn't even, because in those decks you don't want to be pigeonholed into only doing stuff on your turn. You want to be able to react.
Yes.
Bro,
Yes.
I love Priest of the Crossing. This is so fun.
It's really good. White, one of my least favorite colors in Magic, but gotta respect it.
Every single color.
I don't like any color in Magic
I know
unless
you
it's
don't.
like black or red.
Yeah, I get it. And then, Jake, we've got Renewed Solidarity, which
Fuck this card.
it's doing a lot of stuff, huh?
Yeah, man. It's another freaking white token doubler. Like, like, look at it. 1 white, 2 other enchantment. As this enchantment enters, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+0. And at the beginning of your end step, for each token you control of the chosen type that entered this turn, create a token that's a copy of it. Cats. Kitty cats.
Gotta be creature tokens. Thank goodness. It's not just doubling any token.
Yeah, I'm happy Dom got more Balin token support. That's good.
There are a lot of creature token decks, though, that are in white that absolutely will be running this. I have a feeling that this card will be one of those. The card pays for the price of the whole precon.
It does.
For a year or two.
It's a $40 card.
Yeah. That's not shocking to me. I haven't dug into the finance of this set. I'm just realizing I don't know what the expensive cards are yet, but
this one.
That doesn't shock me. This seems like the kind of card that would sell that whole precon plus, and that'll be the precon from the 2 that's kind of marked up until the energy stuff gets scarce and people really need those pieces, because Spec goes, I choose treasure as my creature type.
Clax, yes, it's in the precon. It's a precon card. It's
I
like
have
a
treasure
$40
creatures.
card right now.
Treasure, anything that Academy Manufactor sees, the sunlight touches. That's my creature type. Yeah, Renewed Solidarity, very strong. Going to be very expensive. And that takes us back around to the beginning with Risky Shortcut. Chat.
Yes.
We appreciate y'all hanging out. Those are our picks. What cards from the set, before we roll out, what cards from the set did we miss that y'all are hyped on that you were thinking definitely's got to be in this list, but wasn't? Yeah, I think that zombie deck is going to be expansive for a while, because it's not like Dockside Extortionist level of needing to get it just for that one card, but very strong in the right decks. Dom said
roll
everything
out. We have
blue and white.
another 3 hours of Jake.
Kraken
The stream is
Jank
over.
said the stream is over. Well, I guess if Jank said the stream is over, we're done.
That's a meme. The stream is over, chat. I said that
that's a
maybe
meme?
10 times in the last stream.
Gotcha.
I had the last stream go an extra hour. So it went like 3 hours, and then I was like, we're going to stay an extra hour, and we're going to hang.
Yeah.
And
I watched
yeah,
it.
we're just hanging with chat,
I
man.
missed the stream is over. Got it.
Yeah. We have to get to 69 likes.
Yeah, neither of us put Aether Spark on our list, Will. I think it's fine. I need to see it. I can be completely off on the analysis of that. No, Count
Ooh, we
Crisco.
could talk about the... No? Okay.
Oh, I was just going to say
Never
we can talk about that and something else. Yeah, we did talk about the Gear Hulks. We like we think the blue-white one is very, very insanely strong in Commander. Especially because when you get it blinked. And then, no, we didn't cover that legend. Jank, mostly we covered 99 cards. We had a couple legends on the list. Yeah, Clax, the green-white one was on our list too.
Oh, yeah.
Chat, we appreciate it. If you're watching this after the fact, let us know in the comments what cards we missed that you liked. Appreciate everybody hanging out today for a little Aether Drift convo. We'll see y'all back next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, the Commander panel. Gavin tweeted that next Tuesday, the Commander panel is saying we are going to get some information from that format panel that is in charge of the format now. He said that there's not going to be any unbannings, but that they are going to have something to show us. So we should have plenty to talk about next Tuesday to break down the new Commander format panel news. Yeah, Spec, I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be. We're going to get... They're probably going to show us an initial version of, like, the power level chart.
That's cool.
And everybody's going to get to decide whether their 7 is an 8 or a 9 or a 6. But we think y'all are all 10s.
In Chicago.
Yes.
We will be at Chicago.
Yep, we'll see you in Chicago in a couple weeks.
We're going to be putting together a schedule soon.
Yes.
And we're going to know exactly what we're going to be doing. We have some sponsor stuff that we need to do. Shout out to all of our channel sponsors, Card Conduit for selling your cards, TCG Player for buying them, Dragon Shield for protecting all of your precious cardboard as well. They have deck boxes, sleeves, playmats, all the things. Then also our beautiful sponsor, Moxfield, for organizing your decks.
Chat, we love y'all. Catch y'all soon.